So today we're doing some remote sensing, or using ground penetrating radar to find the outline of the foundations of this hornwork fortification without having to disturb the soil at all. So using the technology, we can see what's underneath the surface, and using tape measures to create a grid, going back and forth with the ground penetrating radar equipment to create a map that we can then use to link to satellite technology to make an accurate map so we know exactly where this thing is. So a hornwork is a type of fortification to guard an entrance into a town. It was designed by a European engineer in 1757. Construction started in 1758 and continued through the spring of '59. And then construction was halted because we were at peace, didn't need the work, and then it was reactivated during the American Revolution. So it's an approximately 6 to 8 acre size tabby fortification surrounded by a moat or dry ditch that would have been the centerpiece, the headquarters for the American defenses during the siege of Charleston in 1780. So after the American Revolution, this defensive work controlling access into the now free city of Charleston was no longer needed, and the new City Council of Charleston authorized its demolition in 1784. So there were a few standing pieces of tabby left because they functioned as garden partition walls in the late 18th century, 19th century. And that's why there's one surviving piece of tabby of this fortification still in Marion Square. But the rest of it was knocked down to their ground level and people just walked right over it. So we're trying to recapture the outline of the remaining foundation that's just below the surface here in Marion Square. I started investigating Charleston's fortifications about 15 years ago and reading through historical documents and even before the American Revolution, the fortifications leading up to the American Revolution, built all around the peninsula of Charleston. And when I learned about this hornwork built here in Marion Square, I got really interested in it because the documentary trail tells us who designed it, when it was designed, who was building it, how many bushels of oyster shells they're using in the tabby, all kinds of great details, but we don't have a plan for it. It's illustrated in a number of maps, but it really intrigued me from the start about 15 years ago. It's going to take a little while to acquire the data and interpret the data, and then to try to create some maps. And with those maps, we'll be able to finally really tell exactly what the shape and size and dimensions and the final geometry of this hornwork. So we're hoping that we can use this technology to put it together with the documentary knowledge that we already have and tell a more compelling story to Charlestonians and to visitors.